What's going on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all platforms? Welcome to another episode of New York Giants Full Access Live. And we're going to be talking about the defense tonight on New York Giants Full Access. So let's get into the intro and we're going to get into the show. Let's get it.
Welcome to New York Giants Full Access with Big Pat Sports Talk, where you get the latest and realest Giants news and content. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Want to talk your talk with Big Pat Sports Talk and become an official Big Blue Crew member? Hit the join button in the description. Wanna look fly is some Big Pat Sports Talk merch? Head over to the Big Pat Sports Shop and grab you some gear. The link is in the description.
New York Giants Full Access, all Giants, all the time. All right, Giants fans. New York Giants Full Access is now live. Enjoy the show.
All right. What's going on? What's going on, viewers? Thank you for tuning in to New York Giants Full Access tonight. Not going to go on too long. Probably just going to be me tonight and maybe a special guest. But tonight we're going to be talking about the defense. And with Mr. Shane Bowen being the new defensive coordinator, this defense is getting a new identity, and they're going to get back to the pass rush when it comes to just rushing four and trying to get home with four. So we got Dexter Lawrence, we got Brian Burns, we got Kayvon Thibodeau, we got Ojolari, Tamon Fox, DJ Davidson, Nacho, Williams, Jordan Riley. What's going on, Coach?
What's up, bro? Man.
Mosley, Ferries, what's going on? I was talking about the defensive scheme tonight, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like we're trying to get back to our roots. What's up, Nimmer? Thank you guys for tuning in. We're trying to get back to our roots as far as the pass rush is going, trying to rush with four.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is on this stream is, can a new defensive scheme work with the players that we have right now with our defensive line? Let's just say we got three good ones in Brian Burns, Thibodeau, and Dexter Lawrence. I believe all three of those guys can be all pros. But the question is, who's going to play opposite of Dexter Lawrence? And Coach, I want you to give me who you think should be playing and who do you think is going to be the guy that's playing. Biggie, what's good?
All right. In terms of the defensive line next to Dexter Lawrence, it's probably going to start off with Nacho because of his experience and maybe what's his name who just came over from the Bills.
Something Williams. I always forget his name, but he was very good about 2-3 years ago.
Ultimately, I think it has to come down. I see DJ Davison. Riley is probably he still needs to refine his pass rushing skill set. I mean, he does a good job in pushing the pocket, but he still needs to work on some of his counter moves. Davison probably because he has a little bit more experience, and he seems to be a little bit quicker in terms of his get off once the ball is snapped. So I think he's probably going to be the one. Stevie Johnson says Jordan Phillips.
Yeah,
Okay,
Jordan
thank you.
Phillips. I always get them mixed up because it was a Williams on their team too.
Hmm.
That was like DJ Davidson. If he actually progresses, that's what DJ Davidson probably could be.
Hmm.
I forgot his first name, but his name was Williams. But appreciate it, Stevie Johnson. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah. So ideally, I think they're really like Riley. I like Riley too. So don't get me wrong. Um, Davison, other than the injuries, he did show me something. In terms of sustaining run penetration, as well as certain moves within the pass rush, his counter moves, because that's going to be the biggest thing. Offensive guards and centers are going to stale you once in a while. You got to be able to have a counter move when they do. So, but ultimately, I think it's going to start with Nacho, and if the other two can handle the pass rush, it's going to be that 3-man rotation. But I'm right now something in my head saying DJ Davison. And then, maybe down the line, see if Riley really can pushes the pocket. You could use all three of them in a rotation with Dexter Lawrence.
Okay. Now there is a wild card in there, and his name is Chapman. He's right here from Shreveport, where I'm at. I actually know his cousins.
Hmm.
What do you think? Do you think that he can make this roster first and foremost?
I'm going to be honest. I haven't really studied much on him, so I really don't know. I can't lie to you about him in reference to him. So I'd have to really go and look at his film and get more in depth in him because right now I've been thinking that you know I'll be honest, I just really don't know much about him. So
Okay, well, he is on the shorter side. I believe he's under 6 foot. I believe he's only like
hmm
5'11", maybe 5'10", to
hmm
be honest with you. But the dude, he's extremely strong for his size. The dude lifts weights like a madman, and he has speed off the line. Now, a lot of people saying it was like Aaron Donald like, but come on, man, he's a Hall of Famer. He's one of probably the best defensive tackle of all time. When you actually look at his body of work for the years that he played.
hmm
But on this defensive line, do we need more of an edge? I mean, not an edge rush, but a pass rushing defensive tackle next to Dex on this defensive line? Or do you feel somebody like Roches, who's mainly a run stopper, he can rush a little bit? Riley, I think he can rush a little bit, but he's more of a run stopper. DJ Davidson is a run stopper. Phillips is a run stopper. Do we have that guy on this team that could really force it to where we could do the stunts and things that Shane Bowen wants to do and get pressure with the front four? Do we have enough pieces on this team to do that?
that's why I said DJ Davison. I think Davison, in terms of stunts, pure stunts, I think he probably can give us a little bit more than everyone else. Um, like I said, Riley is still a work in progress. But if you're talking about working in doing if you're trying to do a nose and tackle twist, there's certain codes that I use for the call. So and telling you weak side or strong side, but whether you're doing a nose and tackle twist, whether you're doing a tackle edge twist, I think Davison can give you a little bit more than the other guys. Now, in terms of do we have that pure three tech or interior defensive tackle pass rusher right now? No, we don't. We don't. We don't have anybody who, if I put him at a three tech or excuse me, or a 4i, I don't see anybody who could just who has that that get off. That as soon as that ball is snapped, they're usually, as my coach used to always tell me, you want to get head to hip, or if you can explode enough to get hip to hip with a interior offensive lineman, they're done.
You ain't
So
lying.
yeah, so
You get hip to hip with a guard, it's
done.
over with.
It's over.
Over
And
with.
that was the whole thing, and or even head to hip. And what do I mean by that is, if my head is to his hip, that means that guard has to literally turn his whole body. And once they
Mm-hmm.
turn their body and they're facing the sideline, they're pretty much done. But if they're staying parallel to the line of scrimmage, at least they have the ability to go left to right and adjust and still turn and twist and ride whoever they're blocking around the horn. So, but do we have anybody like that right now? No, no. And I'm
Yeah.
talking about that lightning speed. You know, Warren Sapp. If you want to go back in the days, look at Warren
Man,
Sapp.
the master, that him and Randall from the
Yes,
Vikings.
yes,
Killers.
yes.
You know who else was real good? Dana Stubblefield was real good at that. Remember Stubblefield from
Yeah,
the
Stubblefield when he came
49ers?
out. Yeah, when he came out of
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame, I followed him. But he was more of a true nose guard, if you want to say it, zero tech. But you know, he was quick off the edge. I mean, off the get. He definitely was. So,
Facts.
uh,
Yeah, John Randall was a monster.
mhm.
Hey, we got a special guest in the building. Hey, what's going on, Miss Really Flawed?
Hello. I don't
Peace
really
and
know if I'm a
blessings.
special guest. Hi.
Okay.
But yeah, I just wanted to pop up, show some love, engage with some football conversation.
Yeah. Well, we talking about the Giants, but I did an interview with Miss Really Flawed. It was a very, very good segment. She's actually trying to get all 32 teams. How close are you trying to get all 32 teams with content creators?
I have every single team ready to go except for my Steelers, which is kind of funny. But we'll get them. We'll get them. So yeah, I'm at 31. AFC East is this week, so they've been releasing. But yeah, it's been really fun, and I've actually learned more about each team as I watch back every episode.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been nice.
But what I'm gonna do, hey, you guys, go subscribe to Miss Really Flawed. I'm gonna try to get your link in the description. Go subscribe to her. She's very knowledgeable of the NFL, and it's actually pretty cool to talk to her about the whole NFL team. She knows a lot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play this little segment from the interview, and you guys go check it out. So let me play this segment real
Oh,
quick.
this is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And hello, everybody in the chat. Sorry, I didn't.
But this is the interview we did. What was it, about a week ago, 2 weeks ago?
It was actually like 3 weeks ago now, I think.
Like 3 weeks ago. Okay.
It was yeah.
But let's play this clip, and you guys go subscribe to Miss Really Flawed. She's close to 1,000 subscribers as well. So let's help her out.
So let's talk about free agency. I know, like, for some reason, after I talked to you a little bit, you know how all these systems are connected. I started getting Saquon Barkley information, and I guess the fan base is not very happy with him that he went. Maybe it's not that he left; it's that he went to the Eagles. I'm assuming is the whole thing.
Can't wait to play him.
Okay,
so that's a real thing. It wasn't just like Twitter being weird and sending me things that aren't actually being talked about.
Yeah. Barkley, I'm not mad that he left. It's just the way that he did it. It's like he act like the New York Giants didn't offer him a contract that was actually a little bit better than what the Eagles did. The running back market dried up. And so the Giants offered you like 4 to 5 contracts, and you kept refusing. So what do you expect them to do? You expect them to keep begging you to come back? No. And I think you wanted to go to Philly the whole time, which is cool. Just be truthful about it. Don't try to play like you're the victim and that woe is me. And then you go around with the Eagles and you start, you're starting to act like those dudes
different.
now. It's crazy. It's like, what? All right. But yeah, that was part of the interview. gladly did that interview. She came out of nowhere and asked me to do an interview. She was like, she liked the Giants content that we make over here with the Big Blue Crew, and it was a great interview. You guys go check that interview out, and I'll get her link in the chat so we can go ahead and help her get to 1,000 so we can get her monetized, man.
Oh, that's so
She's
kind.
yeah.
Can I
She's
just say, like,
definitely cool.
you have been tremendously amazing. So has everybody else that I talked to. I literally just became a sleuth and started stalking people. And I was like, I watched content and I was like, I want to talk to you. And not everybody responded. Some people said that their channels were too big and things like that. So I just appreciate everybody that said yes. Even the people that said no. I'm like, thank you. Now I have to go find my yes. So I did. I found 32 amazing people to talk to. So it's just nice. I like talking sports. I love the NFL. I love college football. I played volleyball,
Yeah.
so I'm partial to volleyball. Nobody cares about that, but I actually love volleyball. But yeah, this is just fun for me to also like have my own channel so I can create my own space. So just thank you for being amazing, inviting me on to talk. Obviously, I don't know like enough about the Giants like you all do, but it's fun learning and hearing other people talk about their teams.
Facts. As you know, got my one of my Big Blue Crew members here with me, Mr. Coach Ed. He's really into college football as well. He will be calling the games on Saturdays.
Nice. What
I don't know.
what games do you call?
I most of the time, oh, not most of the time. A lot of times you'll see me calling Rutgers because I'm a big Rutgers Scarlet Knight
Okay.
fan. But
Okay.
Big Ten, it doesn't matter. I love college football. If I call my college is a D3, I'll call D3 FCS. It does not matter.
I love
I
that.
just love calling football. Matter of fact, I'm doing an arena game on Saturday. I love calling football. I
Yeah.
might be. I'm supposed to set up to even do the UFL championship game.
Oh, that's so cool. I
That
love
that's
that. So, okay. So I'm sorry. I was going to ask another question. I'll
Mhm.
shut up. I'm a guest. I'll
no,
be quiet.
No, go
I was
ahead.
just, I was going to ask, how do you feel about the Big Ten's new conference now that they're getting USC and Oregon
I told you,
and
Coach.
it's expanding? Like, how do you feel about it?
it was destined to go that way in college football overall. Now, did I want to see the Pac-12 eventually go away? No, I've been following the Pac-12 back to O.J. Simpson back when he was playing
Mm,
at USC. I mean, no, I did not want to see it go
that's
away.
fair.
Stanford, the Oregons, the UCLA. I mean, there's history there, but college football is a business, and we
Hmm.
understand that. And the Big 12 jumped the Pac 12, and that's what it boils down to. If the Pac 12 had to handle their business, we wouldn't have this. Maybe you probably see some of those Pac 12 teams moving over to the Big 10 and into the
Agreed.
SEC. So, but it's destined. I really believe that it's going to eventually go. SEC, the Big Ten are going to separate. I know people
Hmm.
don't want to hear that,
I have
but
a
Mhm.
they're
video
going
on
to.
this. Preach.
Yeah, they're going to separate, and the other schools are going to eventually be similar to what back in the day when you had the NCAA and the NCAA 2A, and that's what it's eventually going to go to, and there's going to be the trickle down. So, and you know what? So be it. And then if you're going to get good quality games at the top level, and the players now are getting paid, which they
Mm,
so deservedly they were due. They've been
I
due
agree.
that. So and it will allow kids to go to college and in a sense relax. And yes, you'll go there to get your education. Great opportunity to better yourself and further yourself intellectually and connect with people, but also hone your craft to prepare yourself to go to the NFL. You don't have to rush because now you can get some money, to take care of yourself and your family. And then, hey, that can also boost your draft position. So now you can
Exactly.
make even more money as you go along. But, I know there are people out there that they don't want to see it. They're conventional. And I get it. I'm old school. I understand. But I went up against the wing tee, the wishbone, I formation, near,
Okay.
far, and now we're into the spread set. So that's progression
That's
of the
what
sports.
yeah. One of the things, and then I'll shut up. One of the things that I think is going to happen is I think once the SEC and Big Ten kind of figure it out, I think they're going to pick and choose the teams they want. And I think some teams are going to, like the Vanderbilts, the other teams
I'm like this with my Scarlet Knight. I'm like, come on, keep getting better, fellas, keep
yeah,
getting better.
I think it's going to be like this power conference of just domination. I think they're going to then pick and choose who they want in that thing. And I think but I agree with you. I said this like a few months ago and everyone was like, you're crazy. You're a woman. What do you know? And I'm like, pay attention. Like, just pay attention. Like, this is business. It's business 101.
Follow the money.
Exactly.
That's what I was just going to say that. Follow the money.
Yeah.
The only team that I feel that won't be a part of that is Notre Dame, because they make too much money by themselves.
I agree.
I think Notre Dame will still be there on it.
Here's the thing. If the Big Ten and the SEC get that major TV money and they freeze everyone out, Notre Dame is going to have to. They're going to have to.
Yeah,
you're going to have to, but you're going to have to get NBC to freeze them out. You know, they've had a contract with NBC for decades, since before I think
they can include. I think that they can include NBC though.
Yeah. See, if you
kind of like how the NFL can include ESPN, NBC, Prime TV, whatever.
Yep.
Whatever they're doing now, Netflix. But you know what? I don't know how much Notre Dame. I want to know how much money we're talking about for them, as opposed to what the upside would be for them. I don't know those numbers.
It's hard to look that up because they hide those numbers. But I know they get more TV money than any conference that you can get.
Right now, like for I think last year, if you want to say compared to last year, yes, I think the Big Ten schools got close to $60 million last year, and the projection is next year or the year after next, they're going to be getting 80 and close to $100 million. I don't think Notre Dame. Let me see if I can find it.
Let's see if we.
You'd be surprised. I'm telling you, Notre Dame is up there, boy. They got clout, but while coach is gonna look that up because he's not gonna stop till he finds it.
So Notre Dame is expected to get $50 million a year from NBC, and in addition to the $17 million it receives from the ACC.
I'm telling you.
So what is that?
Now,
67, almost 70 million by themselves.
That's right now.
They don't have to share that with nobody.
Okay, that's right now, Pat. That's why I'm saying if the SEC and the Big Ten are getting to $100 million because their contract is signed through 29. So everyone is their contracts. The Big Ten, the SEC, the Big Ten I think is in 2030, and I think the SEC is either the 2030 or 2029. They have to redo their TV contract, and that's where you're going to see. Now you're right. Now, if the Big Ten is getting, the SEC, Notre Dame is getting 50, and then 17 from the ACC. Yeah, they're making more than the rest of the other teams in the conferences. But
it's not close because that $100 million, they have to spread that between whatever teams.
No, the teams get $100 million each. The eventual projection is $80 million per school.
I thought they was going
I thought they were divided by.
Yeah, I thought that was divided.
The money that they got right now is over $1 billion.
Oh, you're right. It was like 4.2 billion or something.
Yes.
Oh,
so that's why I said Rutgers got almost $60 million. Rutgers had never, when they were in the Big East and the AAC, they were getting $7 million.
Money, but I'll be honest with you, Coach. They actually were competing with Michigan, Ohio State. If they've beaten some really good teams the past 2 to 3 years.
And
so it's a $3 billion. It's a $3 billion dollar
Yes.
Starting this year, 2024.
Yes.
SEC.
Yes.
And
Oregon and Washington, they're not getting a full share. I don't believe they're getting a full share. USC and UCLA, they are going to be getting a full share right off the bat. So I don't believe the other two are getting a full share. So that opens up, that still leaves you the opportunity to grow in terms of the revenue down the line, because now you're adding the Seattle market and the Portland market, because that's the thing with the Big Ten. They want TV markets. And right now they have the top three: New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles.
Yep.
And that's the thing. It's going to continue to grow. So and that's why it's like, okay, that's why with me, with Rutgers, just compete. As long as you're competing and you're winning, you're going to be there. They're not going to kick you out, because they're going to say, we have the New York market. And you don't know how many alums are just in the New York market from the Big Ten alone. Iowa, Michigan, Ohio State. They're going to feed on it. So they're not, in some regards, they're going to they want Rutgers to succeed, because that allows them to have that cash cow. And now you're bringing in UCLA and USC. That's why you're saying about Notre Dame. Yeah, Notre Dame can hold their own right now, but if you're looking at the other conferences making SEC and the Big Ten making $100 million, and you're making $67 million or 70, you're going to want the extra $30 million.
See, that changes the whole game, because I thought all those teams had to share it. But if they're getting 100-some million apiece, Notre Dame's going to jump.
Eventually, not right now. Don't. I'm not saying now. They're like $60 million right now. And
well, whenever that happens, that's when Notre Dame's going to jump, and they're going to decide which conference they want to go to.
If the two conferences says, look, we're going to do our own thing, and the TV companies are going to want to fall all in with them. It doesn't matter who it is. They're going to all follow along with the SEC and the Big Ten, and that money is going to go with them. And Notre Dame, you can have NBC, but if NBC, if after that separation, if the ACC it can't give them more than 17, what is Notre Dame going to do? They're going to have to leave. Exactly.
Yo, let me get to the chat. Thank you for everybody that's tuned in, and thank you for everybody that's subbed up to Miss Really Flawed.
Yeah, I
really appreciate you guys. But Tommy Nimmer, what's going on? Tommy's a Texas fan, so he's ready for them to go to the SEC.
Hook 'em.
Yep. Come on. Trash ass Texas.
What? I'm not going to do that to you, Tommy. I'm not going to do that to you.
Yeah. Jay Perry's Deception, Ghost Dog, E. Rando, Coach TJ was in here earlier. Thank all you guys for tuning in. And we got 98 in the chat. So y'all go hit that like and subscribe button for us, man. Appreciate you guys. Wales just tuned in. What's going on? So you got a little bit of college football. I'm telling you, I think you two guys, well, girl and guy, can be really, really cool calling the games, college football games this season. If you have the time, it's really flawed. I really think
to call. Oh my, that gave me chills.
I really think you two would be a dynamic duo.
Why would it give you chills?
You know how but you know how you know something, but you don't know that you know it until you just talk it. Like even I retweeted, like, I can't wait to come on the panel or come talk to you about the Giants or whatever. And somebody got in my DMs and they were like, you're going to talk about the Giants? I'm like, it's football.
Right.
I don't need to know, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know the left tackle's name, but you don't have to know his name. I can ask, and then I can give him, my other opinion. I think so many times, we try to be perfect at it and we don't realize that we know enough. And so maybe that was a little bit of my insecurity being like, ooh.
No, I think you two guys would be great at doing that, man. Seriously, if you do have the time, Miss Flawed, and Coach, he's going to be calling them every Saturday. We do have the Big Blue Krew Sports Network. You two will be dynamite calling those college games, and people will watch. I promise you.
Yeah. And, maybe I can be a part of the team, too, going to the draft.
Oh yeah, see.
Because I think it's in Pittsburgh. So just for the audience, for those of you that don't know, huge Texas fan, hook 'em, obviously. And I'm a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Like that's my team. That's, whatever. But I am on the Colorado Buffaloes bandwagon. Don't judge me. Just leave me be. I know what I'm doing.
We better not judge you. I love Coach Prime and what he's doing over there, man.
It's an interesting roller coaster.
I think if they go 500, that'd be a great season for them, man. I just don't see them competing. Well, no, they stayed. Never mind. They didn't stay. They went. They're playing. They're not playing against great teams this next coming year.
So the Big 12 is interesting. So I always tell people like the Big 12, obviously being a Texas fan, I've had to live and breathe the Big 12. It's not an amazing conference, but it's not a bad conference. They don't do anything exceptionally well, but they don't do anything bad. And they're usually very disciplined, very structured. Coaches have been there for a long time, and they just play solid football.
It's solid offense. They don't play no defense over there. They don't play defense over there.
Yeah. And so now
Texas ain't got no defense. Oklahoma ain't got no defense. Texas Tech ain't got no defense.
Well, see, and that's the thing. So it'll be interesting to see like what this year will be interesting for football. I feel like this is like it's like turning a new leaf, and we don't know. Players are getting paid. We don't. What is this? So we just don't know.
No, you're right. I mean, in the Big 12, to be honest with you, I think Utah is actually going to win that conference. Utah is well built, and the teams in that conference have not seen a defense like Utah, and they have not played against a physical team like Utah. They will play smash mouth football and run it down your throat, and they will wear you out. And they do play very good, sound fundament. They're fundamentally sound defensively. So, and these teams they've not seen anything like this. So.
I think historically it's like Iowa State was usually really good at defense. Sometimes West Virginia, sometimes it's hit or miss.
West Virginia is like Cal. They have good defenses at times, but they can never have enough offense to beat anybody.
Yeah. So I'm just excited to but even I'm going through so many different changes because even the Texas going to the SEC, I'm like, what is that? I mean,
and they're going to get their tails whooped over there in the SEC.
I don't know, Pat.
I don't think so.
I don't know, Pat.
Man,
look, Pat. They have confidence from what they've done with Alabama. It's not the same Alabama, but they have the confidence, and they still have talent over there. They do have talent in Texas. So, and Coach Flood, I know Coach Kyle Flood personally. I've gone to clinics with him, and Coach what's the head coach name? Coach Stark. Is it Sarkisian? Yeah, Sarkisian is the head coach. Yeah. They're doing a good job over there with Ewers, and you even see what they have with the what's his name, Manning in the wings. So I mean, they have talent. And Pat, we've seen the receivers that they just brought up to the NFL. So
here's my thing. I have a video coming out on Friday about my concerns. One of my concerns is we just don't know, right? Like we haven't seen them play that schedule, but I think the things that make them a good shoe-in to me is their offensive line, I think, is rated like number 1 or 2 in the country. Their quarterback's this is his 3rd year. Running backs, solid. So it's like all of our like main position groups.
Didn't y'all just lose
really
that
good.
One running back? Number
we
24.
just lost Jonathan Brooks.
Yeah, Brooks. There you go.
Yeah, it's like every year we lose 2 running backs and we bring 2 in. So if you take nothing from what I say about Texas, go look up Baxter and go look up Blue, and you will go, oh my God, are these guys like this is the next guy up? Like, but everybody felt that when Bijan and Rojo left. So it's like
that's true.
Jashard Choice is an amazing in Texas. We always say like give him whatever he wants, like just whatever it is.
Choice went go on to play for the Cowboys. I think he played for the Texans too.
So that's what. So again,
pretty good.
I think they're built for the SEC. I don't.
You will be disappointed. I'm just gonna
We'll
tell
see.
you that. Now we all know Miss Really Flawed is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. We actually play the Steelers this year, so let's do a preview of that game. How do you feel about playing us this year? Do you think you could dominate us this year? Because we all know we got Daniel Jones at quarterback, so he's the worst quarterback that's ever
Stop
played. But how do you think how do you think that game will go?
So the Steelers don't dominate anyone. So that's out. And we also do a really good job of making average teams look like the best teams. So it's going to be a close game. I can almost guarantee you that. I think it'll be interesting because our schedule is brutal. So there's a little bit of it really depends on what it looks like. In a weird way, I think we're going to benefit from having Wilson and Fields because it's almost like if something bad happens to one, we really do have another starter that's almost ready to go. I think that's going to be one of our strengths. I'm a Steelers fan. Like I'm a spoiled Steelers fan. We usually, you know what I mean? It's like at the end of the year, we always look back and we're like, oh, that year was terrible, but we're in the playoffs.
Yeah, right.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing. Because my dad's a Steelers fan. That's the only thing he doesn't act or say. But he's always been a Steelers fan. I mean, I grew up before a Giants fan watching the Steelers, so I know exactly what you're talking about. And
I do. I do say, let me just say this. I do think the AFC North is the toughest team in football. And I do think our defensive line, our linebackers are obviously that's who we are. So if you all are having trouble at offensive line still, I think that would be going to be a huge.
I wanted to ask you this. Who do you guys play the week before that? Because we played the Eagles on the 20th. And now that's 8 days before we play y'all. That also factors in. You know, who do you guys play? Because you're right. That could be a factor. How do we how are we coming in? We actually play the Bengals, then the Eagles, then you guys. So it's like, okay.
So we play the Raiders in LA, and then we come home and play the Jets, and then 8 days later we play
us. Okay, so we
and
both.
You guys are a game before a bye week, which is usually good for us. We usually play really well that game before bye week. Okay. But
so you're playing New York back to back, so you know it's a matter of how you guys handle the Jets defense offensively, and how the Jets offense, because again they're also offensive line issues just like us.
Yep.
So
exactly. So let me do this. Let me give Miss Floss matchups.
Okay.
TJ Watt and Highsmith versus Evan Neal, Andrew Thomas. Who wins that battle and why?
TJ Watt and Highsmith better win that battle over and over and over and twice on Sundays. That's our bread and butter. And if they don't win that matchup, then I don't know if we can win. That's kind of our not so secret sauce.
Yeah, I do believe TJ Watt is, if not, it's between him, Myles Garrett, I believe, is the best edge rusher in the league. When TJ Watt is healthy, that dude's a monster, bro. Like, and it's
his ability to draw the double teams and triple teams sometimes that really help. I do want to say one thing though. I think it's going to be our sleeper this year. It's going to be Patrick Queen. Because I think
I forgot y'all got
we've always had good linebackers. Now he's like great in the scheme of our defense. I think he'll be great, and so I think he might be the thing that we don't talk about until we see it, and we're like, oh right, okay, that's right.
Shout out to BK Godson and Deala joining the chat. Craig, what's going on, Craig? Thank you guys for tuning in. Here's another matchup. You guys run a game versus our defensive line. Who wins that battle?
I don't, man. Because we have Najee and Connor, I think I like our running game. I like our running game. Yeah. Here's, if this was last year, I would say absolutely not. I'd take nothing we do on offense. No. But because we have Arthur Smith, I think his offensive play calling is going to line up, is going to work for us. Because we're smash mouth football. We're old school. We want to run the ball down your throat. If we could run the ball 40 times, we would. And then we want to give your quarterback hell all game. So it's like, if we could do both of those or even one of those, it almost sets up the other, the defense either gets what they want or the offense gets what they want.
See, I'm intrigued by your run game versus our front 7, 6, 7,
I am too.
whatever. Because number one, how do you handle Dexter Lawrence? That's going to be and then we actually have interior linemen that are built for the run game. We really do. Now, if you're saying that you're going to try and hit the edge consistently, then that's going to cause me to, okay, we got to see if we can hold the edge because, Burns and Kayvon, they're more pass rushers. I mean, now they can hold their own and do some things well in terms of supporting the run. New DC, how does he use them in that regard? Now, our front line can keep your offensive line occupied. I think our 2 linebackers will eat and stop now whoever you have, Connor.
I agree with that.
Najee, and that's the whole thing. That's the biggest thing because if I'm the DC, that's the one thing I'm telling them. Running situations. Yeah. This is a run-based team. I'm not looking for you guys to over-penetrate. Just try and penetrate no more than 2 yards into the offensive backfield. Force their offensive linemen to fight with you guys and keep our linebackers clean. And then McFadden and Bobby O can just scrape and fill. Yeah. And then I want to see, are we going to miss tackles? Are we going to get run over? Or are we going to stall them at the line of scrimmage, if anything? So that's why I'm intrigued in terms of the run game. Yes.
Yeah. Because we're definitely trying to go sideline. That's how we usually beat the Ravens. So, but that's it, right? That's the matchup is like, if you can do that. And then the thing that my Steelers do sometimes where it's like, I'm sitting at home and I'm like, what is this? Like we do random stuff sometimes where I'm like all week, I'm like, okay, I know the game plan. I know the game plan.
It is weird. Yeah,
and then you're like, did you guys practice? Like, did y'all watch the film? I watched the film. What is this? Like what? So I need to take a phone call. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. Well, while she does that, because I have a couple of more matchups for Miss Flaw, man. I'm really happy to have her on this platform. I believe she's dope, man. I could talk football with her all day long, and she's very knowledgeable. But let's talk about our defense a little bit, Coach. I'm gonna set you up with this real quick. I'll take a quick smoke break. Let the chat know, what do you think about Shane Bowen? I think I got his name right. Shane Bowen as a defensive coordinator, and what type of scheme do you believe that he's going to run? Talk to him a little bit, Coach, and I'll be right back.
No problem. Schematically, our base set is going to be an odd front. And when I say odd front, Dexter at the nose tackle, and then 2 either 4-eye or 5-tech ed tackles and defensive ends, however you want to classify them, with Kayvon and Burns on the outside and our 2 inside linebackers. He's going to give you different looks on the back end, mixing up his coverages, whether he's playing zone, whether he's playing man. There's one thing that I love that when I took a little bit to watch him is how he inverts his safeties. I consistently speak about that, and what do I mean by that is if you're playing a cover 2 look, when at the snap, he'll drop both safeties down depending on if they're taking the hook to curl, or if they're shooting to the flats, it doesn't matter. And then he takes the cornerbacks, and they're going to drop back playing the cover two responsibility, which in that regard forces a quarterback in passing situations just to hold the ball a little bit longer. And if we're trying to get pressure on the quarterback, that allows Kayvon and Burns to come off the edge and allow Dexter and whoever's on the middle to push the pocket. It also helps in terms of the stunts that we may be doing, because the quarterback has to hold the ball. If you're running a tackle and twist, whoever's going first or end tackle, that allows someone to come free. And next thing you know, the quarterback is holding the ball because he wasn't expecting the inversion to hold the ball. And then we can get the sack or get a good quarterback hit, force the quarterback to throw a bad pass that we can create a turnover on. We all knew, most of us have seen that in Tennessee, they had a good run defense. And I think that's going to transition here as long as we have the right personnel out there. And like I just spoke about earlier against Pittsburgh, I think he's going to put us in the right position in run situations to sustain and hold up against anyone, and even in our own division. They're not. I don't think if they're going to try and really run on us consistently, we're going to do well, or we're going to hold our own. The only concern I had, like I said, is trying to get to the edge consistently. That's the only thing that if we can hold the edge, even if you slide your line and bring a DB or bring the safety down to be the outside support guy, little things like that will help, because that will force the offensive line to sometimes hesitate, to overthink things, and it will allow gaps to open up. So I think we're going to do well in the run game. Now, again, like I said, mixing up the coverage, whether we're going to go cover two, whether it's three quarters, whether you run a cover two read, man to man. I don't want you guys to think that I'm saying we're going to primarily be a zone team. No, he's going to mix it up. He's going to mix it up between the zone and the man. You'll see cover six, cloud, sky, all the different concepts within his defensive system is going to be there. And I'm seeing us building or bringing in the guys, young guys, to be able to eventually down the line fit into this system. Banks, we already know, okay, he's good. He's going to hold. He's going to be able to continue to develop and become he's good right now. He's not great and eventually elite. I've watched him when he was at Maryland. He can play zone. There were times in Maryland I used to say, why are they sitting him at 10 yards? But there was some of the concepts that they were doing with Maryland, with Banks back in the day. But the point being is he can hold his own, whether it's in zone or man. There's things he still has to work on, but he can hold his own and be able to do it. Newbin, yes, exactly, will fit this system. I think all our safeties will fit our system. To be to be honest with you. What's up, NYG? My brother from another is there. Thanks for tapping in, bro. I think Pat put the link in the chat, the private chat, man. So I guess you should be able to jump on. But defensively, like I said, we're going to be able to. I feel schematically, we're going to be able to handle our own. And I don't care who it is. From what I saw with Tennessee, they did very well in the run game. They really did. So I'm not expecting teams to come out here and run 200 yards on us collectively. And I'm not worried about who it is. I know some fans are worried about Saquon. Look, I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about Dallas. I'm not worried about Washington, because that's where we have to really control it in the run game. So I think defensively we will be fine. Now, if you want to ask about our second cornerback, okay, that can be up for debate. Who do we have there, and how do they fit into the system, and how do they adjust to what we're trying to do? So, but I've been rambling enough. Miss Really Flawed. Pat asked me about our defensive system.
Okay,
What
I heard
have
him.
you noticed?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest, I haven't looked at the defense too much because I
Okay.
feel like e- even if the defense is phenomenal, it's
Mm-hmm.
really about if you can score points in this league. And so I've been really just focusing on like the offensive line, what that's looking like. I think if he was to keep asking me questions, I think what you all should do really well this year, pending
Mm-hmm.
offensive line,
Mm-hmm.
is I think the receivers are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that helps. I think even just having like a tight end, like for me, you all go with the offensive line. And that's not
Thank you.
necessarily true for a lot of teams. Like for my
Mm-hmm.
team, we go with our defensive line. Like our defensive line and linebackers, they really set the tone and they kind of kickstart us. I think
Mm-hmm.
for you all, it's really that offensive line because I feel like it's been so inconsistent and
Mm-hmm.
you just can't do anything if it's not working. So yeah, I mean, so the way that I released the episodes is I did it by how I thought teams were going to finish in the division. And the
Mm-hmm.
one thing I said in my preview video is like, I don't know what the offensive line is going to be like. So
Mm-hmm.
therefore I don't know what to say because I'm not sure.
Gotcha. That's fair. That's
I'm
fair.
just not sure. And then
That's fair.
I think I don't want to say Saquon is not a big loss because that would be kind of disingenuous, but I think that sometimes when it's time to kind of reset and try it again and it's almost like taking a shower and kind of like getting rid of what it was and like starting something
Oh, I
new.
like that one.
I kind of
I like
feel
that
like
one.
that's what's happening. It's not a bad thing. It's not a knock on him. It's not, doesn't mean he didn't mean anything to the Giants or anything like that. I just think that sometimes it's just time and that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not. I mean, that's a great analogy. I like that, because sometimes we got to take a shower and start fresh, and we come out feeling a lot better and energized and ready to go. So I'm with you. Just real quick, I want to touch on Diela's question at 10:50, Pat. He says, "Hey, Coach, do you think our defense has a lot of similarities to the Eagles' D from last year? Good front and big time question marks in the secondary didn't work out for them in terms of stopping the pass." Okay. Now, I've questioned the Eagles' scheme last year because I don't think it fit their personnel. I think what we're doing is we're slowly, but we're putting the players in to fit the personnel from this draft, and a lot of the guys are able to adjust and adapt to what they were trying to do. I mean, last year they were playing more of a bend but don't break on the back end of their defense, and they were relying a lot on their front line. So I get what you're saying, the similarities there and the question marks. So I do understand where he's going with that. I just don't think that their players fit the scheme that they had last year. I just really don't. I mean, but Pat, you go ahead and jump into that, and I know NYG's here too.
NYG, what's going on, brother? Good to see you.
What's good, man? How y'all doing?
We
It's all
doing
good,
good, pretty good, man. This is Miss Really
doing
Flawed.
well.
Miss Really Floyd, heard a lot about you. Appreciate you joining in on the Big Blue Krew podcast. We have many of them, but
Right.
yeah. So what's the topic? What are we talking about?
We're talking about our defensive scheme this year. What do you think? The question is, can the New York Giants' new defensive scheme work with the personnel that we have here right now? As you know, we're trying to get pressure with the front four and cover a lot of people this year. Do you think we have the personnel to do it? And if so, why or why not?
I think we have the personnel to do it, and I'm a big believer in our defensive coaches. Not necessarily our defensive coordinator because he just got here, but I've always, on these podcasts talked about Jerome Henderson, our defensive backs coach.
Best coach in the league.
Yeah. And what he does is he takes younger defensive backs and he makes them comfortable in the system. I think that's what Jerome Henderson's strength is. Because you never see these guys like you never see a lot of blown coverages from the Giants. Like back in the past, when our defenses were strong, our weakness was we used to have a lot of blown coverages sometimes. Because our front four couldn't get there. When our front four couldn't get there. Most of the time it did, but when it couldn't get there, you would see them blowing coverages. You don't see that with Jerome Henderson and these defensive backs. They're disciplined. And the other coach is Andre Patterson. And now Andre Patterson is starting to work with the outside linebackers, aka edge rushers. So now one of the guy that's made, help Dexter Lawrence get to an elite level is now getting to work with Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns. This is going to be scary. I'm telling you right now.
I truly believe that. What's going on, Kevin Doncic, NYG 31? We got 22 and 31 in the chat. King Blue Rizzo, what's good, bro? I ain't seen you in a minute, man. Hope all is well, Rizzo. King Blue, he always changes his name, but King Blue, that's what we know him by. Appreciate you tuning in. I do truly believe that we have the roster to do it, but we're gonna show a little bit from the film room, A to Z Sports Film. Check those guys out if you haven't checked those guys out. But let's look at a little bit of what Shane Bowen does with this scheme, and then we could talk about it a little bit after that. And then we're gonna wrap this up, man. Appreciate the 130 in the chat. Hit that like and subscribe button for us. Thank you guys for tuning in. But can you guys see that? Let's do it this way.
Yeah.
Can you see a little bit better now?
We could see it, yeah.
All right. They probably gonna turn off a little bit, but let's listen to what Shane Bowen really does.
The disappointing end to Tennessee's season is how much it takes away from a great season defensively and a dominant defensive performance in the playoffs. Heading into week 1, Shane Bowen probably had as low of an approval rating from fans as any coordinator in the league, but he ended up leading a drastic turnaround for Tennessee's defense.
Now, do you guys see that? Well, did you guys see that, Coach? I don't know if Coach still there. Oh, there you go. But you see how he rushes forward and they pick up, do stunts
in the playoffs. Heading into week 1,
you see how he had it looking like a cover 1 and then he only rushed 4?
Shane Bowen
really only rushed 3, but
he had as low of an approval rating.
That's something I want to ask you, NYG.
Yeah.
Do you think that we have the defensive tackle capability to do this scheme? That's what I'm really asking. I know we're good on the edge, and I know Dexter Lawrence is an all-pro. But do we have that other defensive tackle that could command eyes to where we could get those stunts and pull them off?
I know I have two people in mind. One is Jordan Phillips and the other is Jordan Riley. So Jordan and Jordan. And I think Jordan Phillips, with his versatility and his experience, I think he can really help take some pressure off Dexter Lawrence. And Jordan Riley is that young dog, as we like to call him. And I think he can definitely develop in this system. When you have so many other guys you have to worry about, he's going to get some real good pass rush opportunities. That's what I think, man. I think we do have the personnel to do this. I really do.
Okay.
from fans as any coordinator in the league, but he ended up leading a drastic turnaround for Tennessee's defense. I went through every statistical category that was available, and I couldn't find a single one where the Titans regressed, and in most areas they improved dramatically.
Now, as you can see, when Shane Bowen arrived to Tennessee, as far as the rush defense, EPA slash attempt went up 5 points. Success rate went up. Yards attempt went up. Yards after a catch after attempt went up from 26 to number 1. Explosive percentage went from 26 to number 4. So that's another thing that we've talked about here with this New York Giants team as far as on defense is being more explosive. Coach, what do you think? Can we be more explosive this year in this defensive scheme? I want to see if you think we can do that.
I mean, looking at this, says that he has the ability to help us develop and grow. So yes, I mean, this right here, those numbers don't lie. And anybody knows me, I'm not a big analytics person, but I mean, this is telling me that there is a progression in terms of his teaching and what the guys learn. And that's going from one year to another. So that's taking players who were in another personnel system and helping them adapt into what you're trying to do while you're integrating other players into your system. So based on these numbers, I mean, and that's great, Pat, that you showed that. I'm now more confident that, yes, we can develop and become a better defense, especially in the run game.
Okay. Hey, we're going to welcome Mr. G Nation Inside Sports himself, Big Lou. What's going on, Lou? Co-founder, right? Co-founder of the Big Blue Crew. Hey, this is Miss Really Flawed, man. I was talking to you about her. I did the interview with Miss Really Flawed. So she's here representing her brand. And you guys go hit that like and subscribe button to her channel. But Lou, we was talking about the blitz go out pretty much. Can this defensive line progress with the new scheme that we have with Shane Bowen, knowing that we're trying to get after the quarterback with only 4? Let us know what you think.
That gets me excited. Everybody knows I like the front 4 bringing pressure. I'm not a big blitz guy. If you can create pressure with the front 4, that leaves the rest of your defense to cover, maybe a man to spy. You're able to shut down the run game, and you can limit an offense's weapons exponentially. So, and historically, the Giants have had success when we've used just the front 4 as a down pass rush. So, I'm excited. I think we need to get back to that, to get back to winning ways. And, with Brian Burns and Thibodeau, maybe Ojulari coming in as a relief guy, not an every down guy, maybe that can keep him from sustaining an injury and we can have him all year long, pause. But I think that there's a lot of upside to this defense and very little downside. So what I'm more worried about is the fact that we have no real run game, no real run identity. But I'm extremely excited about the blitz squad. You already know.
Yes, sir. And you're gonna get plenty of blitz squad videos from Big Lou this year. I'm quite sure we're gonna give him enough content to where he can make those blitz squad videos this year.
Oh, you already
know.
I just couldn't make the blitz squad videos because we was blitzing so damn much that we was getting burnt.
Right. That's all we did. But we know.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
The stats that you showed, were they your season 2020 to 2021?
Mm-hmm.
So I just took a couple of minutes, so don't hold me to like this very methodical research that I just did. And it looks like in 2020 and in 2021, even though the defense looked good, it looks like the teams they lost to, meaning the Titans, were teams that were pretty run heavy, like the Steelers both years, the Texans.
Yeah, they were really run heavy those years.
Yeah, we ain't been
Yeah,
able to
so
stop the run in a long time.
yeah, so just like again, food for thought is the schedule and the teams that they were beating. It looked like, again, with my very quick spot check, it looked like they struggled with teams that had a pretty decent run game.
So
it's one of those things where it's like numbers are a thing. I always say numbers are data, but it's not information. And so you still have to like paint a story by what it's actually telling you. So I do think that it is true that the defense did improve. I also probably think it's true that depending on the schedule and who played who, it impacted those numbers a little bit.
Okay. That's a very good analysis. And I will say this, me and NYG always talk about this Giants team. They call us old heads or whatever they want to call us.
Right.
First thing you got to do is you got to be able to stop the run. You got to be able to run the ball yourself. So with her analysis right there, she just did that in 2 minutes. Do you believe our run defense suffers with this scheme? That's another question we can ask.
I will ask this. Had Shane Bowen, had Bobby Okereke, Michael McFadden, and Isaiah Simmons, because linebackers matter in a scheme, especially when you're trying to stop the run.
The Titans,
especially the outside edge too.
They did make the playoffs, I think, in both years. And it looks like the first year, I think they lost to the Bengals.
Yep.
I think we can remember that game. And then in 2020, they lost to the Ravens. And then in 2021, they lost to the Bengals. And so I guess my point in saying that is, looks like they were good enough to be in the playoffs. I'm assuming they were pretty solid. I can't remember who their linebackers and stuff though were at that time.
It was Long and I can't think of the other guy's name, but I think Harold Landry just got started with them during that time as an edge rusher. You know, they always had Isaiah Simmons and the other guy, Autry. So they had a very good team. When they lost to the Bengals, it wasn't because the Bengals ran all over them. It was because freaking Tannehill had
terrible 3
interceptions in that game.
Yeah,
but that defense actually dominated that game. If you actually go back and look at that game,
yeah, that was when they were destroying Joe Burrow, but it just didn't matter because
they had like 8 sacks that game. They had like 8 sacks that game, and then the year prior to the Ravens, they just got ran through by the Ravens. Lamar Jackson and them, they just ran through them that year. That was revenge for in 2019. They celebrated on the Ravens logo, I believe.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
And then the Ravens came back and beat them. But NYG make a good point.
Yeah, good point. I'm just throwing out, like I said, random pieces of data that I can find on Google within 3 minutes.
Numbers,
I get it.
when you over here with the Big Blue Crew, numbers only tell part of the story to us. We don't just go, oh, look at that stat. They must suck. No, I look at the whole film of things. I look at because certain times,
watch a lot of film over
certain times that team might just be fatigued that game, or
somebody
might have just been off that game. But I do believe with Bobby O and McFadden having another year together,
people do just suck too.
That's true. That's true. But I think Bobby O and McFadden with Dexter Lawrence, I just think that we won't have a huge problem stopping the run this year. I just don't think we do. Because we have people like Phillips, we have people like DJ Davidson, we have people like Riley, who I believe is going to elevate his play, and Jordan Phillips is going to be Dexter Lawrence's breather. Like, I don't think Phillips is going to get a bunch of snaps. I think he's just going to get those snaps when they want to pull Dexter Lawrence off the field to give him a breather. Because I think he's snaps too. Yeah, and when it comes to big run situations like 3rd and 1s and 3rd and 2s, you might see Phillips and Dexter Lawrence in there together. I just don't think we have a huge problem stopping the run this year. But the biggest test is going to be against the Eagles because they're going to have to run the ball in order to be successful. Yo, Mark Stewart, thank you for becoming another. Well, you ain't a new member. You've been a member since I've been here, but he renewed his membership. Appreciate you for talking your talk with Big Pat Sports Talk. But let's get back into the video a little bit and let's see exactly what they say about Mr. Shane Bowen.
So in this video, I want to discuss what exactly the Titans' defensive scheme is, where they struggled, where they succeeded, and what caused such a significant improvement from 2020 to 2021. For the most part, I'm going to focus on Shane Bowen as opposed to individual players because a lot of those guys will get separate videos themselves. But obviously, the improved personnel was a major factor. Mike Vrabel's defensive philosophy has been difficult to pin down up to this point because if we rewind back to his first NFL job, he was the linebackers coach in Houston under Romeo Crennel, who ran the 2-gap, 3-4, and played a lot of cover 2, and he kept that scheme going when he became the Texans DC in 2017. Then in 20...
Okay, so Coach, you know a lot about these coverages. I love the way you explain how the coverages go. With the personnel do we have? Do you believe we're going to run a lot more cover 2 or a lot more cover 3? Or should we be one of those teams that runs that cover 0 look but get back into the defense and run like a cover 6 or a cover 9? When I mean by cover 6, we have a deep safety. Both DBs will go into a cover 3 or they'll do a cover 2 shell on the side. And the linebackers will run and cover the seams as far as getting towards the middle of the field. That's where what's the boy we got from Arizona? That's where he comes into play. Man, what's his name? The linebacker we just re-signed.
Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, that's where Isaiah Simmons comes into play to being underneath those coverages in the middle of the field.
We drafted Darius. What's his name? Masood.
Oh, from UCLA. Yeah. You're talking about which pro from UCLA?
Kid we drafted.
Oh yeah, the Samoan.
Darius Masua or something like that.
Yeah, Masua or something like that. But explain the coverages to him if you want to, Coach. And with Cordell Flott maybe being the number 2 and Banks and Newman's going to be a starter with Pinnock. How do you think our secondary will play behind our edge rush this year?
Okay, in terms of the coverages for starting with cover 3. Cover 3 means that you have one defensive back who's basically in the middle of the field, and usually his responsibility is going to be coverage in between the hashes. Don't let anybody get deeper than you and play in between the hashes. Then you're going to have 2 defensive backs who are going to be responsible for the hash to the sidelines. Now, safety and a cornerback, or it could be the 2 cornerbacks. All right, so that's where you have your cloud and your sky coverages come into play. Cover 2, everyone usually knows is you have it's really from hash to the sideline. To be honest with you, you might play your guys on the hash, and they're able to jump to the middle of the field in case anything goes there. But yeah, I know I have long hair. I get it. But yeah, you have cover 2 that they're responsible for playing in between the hashes to the sidelines. Now, underneath that, in the cover 3, there's certain responsibility. There's a flat, there's a hook, there's a curl, and then sometimes you could say there's the middle underneath. In terms of that cover 3, you're really responsible for the hook, the curl to the flats. That's really what you're looking to cover in the cover 3. In the cover 2, you're really covering the flats. Now, it depends on your cover 2. If you're playing a cover 2 read, that means what they're doing is they're reading the number 2 receiver to the number 1 receiver. And if both go vertical, then the cornerback will turn and cover number 1 going up the field. But yeah, cover 2 is usually the flat areas covered, then the hook, the curl, and then the middle of the field is covered in the cover 2. So that's usually what you mean by the past concepts in terms of cover 3 and then cover 2. There's one other one, which is quarters. Quarters is basically it's reverse of cover 2. Cover 2 is that the cornerbacks handle the sidelines, and then you have two safeties who are handling the seams, which are the hash marks, and the other cornerback on the other side. And then underneath, they're usually taking the middle of the field. Maybe they're pushing a little bit to the strong side with that linebacker, whoever's in the middle, and then you cover the hook to curl to the flat. So and when I say hook to curl, it just usually means that that's a pattern that's run. There's a stop where they run, stop, and turn around to the quarterback. That's usually a hook, and then the curl is just you're usually running and you're running and then you're coming back a little bit more. So they're pretty much the same, and they're usually within the same area. The hook will the hook will probably ride the seam. The curl will probably ride a little bit towards the number. So it's just
the hook curl. That's Jason Garrett's offense.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
and basically what he's saying, like the hook curl in the zone of the defense, if you play Madden, it's the zone that's purple and they come down.
Yeah, I don't play Madden, so I'm sorry. I don't play Madden.
I'm talking about for people that don't know and play Madden, that's what a hook curl is.
Yeah.
They mostly run that in like cover 1 or robber.
Yeah. For those who don't know, you play two safeties up, and then one is going to go over the top, and the other one is going to come down and play anywhere in the area, whether he's going to sit in the hook or in the seam area or go into the middle of the field too. So, those are, if you hear those terminologies, that's just really all it means, just to help you guys. So, and your teachings within the zone concepts, some will just say play area, some will say bump and ride a little bit of man and pass responsibilities, where, I mix it up where if guys are riding with someone, you're always telling them in, out. You're telling whoever's on the other side that someone is coming to your area. So be aware of it, so it's just little things of that nature. So
now, if you want a little bit more knowledge, since everybody think I don't watch film or anything on Twitter, when you let's just say they run a cover 0 look, because you can run a cover 0 look out of this too. Hey, Nerd Cage, what's good, bro? Hope all is well, man. Been checking out your channel, man. Y'all do good work. You can turn it into a cover 6. And what a cover 6 is say we line up in a cover 0 formation on defense, but they got to spread out. They got like 3 receivers on one side, another receiver, and a tight end on the left side. The cover 6 is basically like a box triangle. You want to put the people on the most side of the field, the people they have on the most people they have on the side of the field. So if they got 3 receivers on the right and 2 receivers on the left, you're going to want to form that box on the right. And what I mean by the box is you box all 3 of those receivers. You will have 4 people that will be covering those 3 receivers over there, because we're going to back out. We're going to probably send the middle linebacker and maybe the DB that's up there. They're going to send them back, and it's going to have those guys in a box. Now, the safety's always going to have to take the furthest defender, the DB right here. If you have them in a cover 3, now the safety can come in and take the slot and make sure that slot defender doesn't beat them on a deep end or beat them in a seam route. But the crazy part about this defense is you have to be sound, because that safety also has to watch a deep dig coming from the left, because if that deep dig goes all the way across the field, he has to pick him up, because there will be nobody there, because everybody else is covering drags or end routes on the other side. And then the triangle is basically the same thing, but you could do it with only 3 instead of 4. So I believe they're going to do that a lot this year too, and I think that's why they brought Isaiah Simmons back, because he has enough speed to get back in the middle of the field to cover those seams if they run a seam route with a tight end, try to open that box as per se. But I mean, it is what it is. I love to study things like that. Not going to continue to. I'm not going to say bore you guys, because there's over 100 you guys in here, but it's a cover 9 version of it as well. But I can't wait to do the film reviews with Coach this year. And it's not to prove anybody on Twitter wrong. Oh, you don't watch film, you don't know what you're talking about. It's just something that we love to do over here with the Big Blue Crew. Everybody studies film. Everybody wants to know the why. Why did we get our ass whooped this week? Why we can't run the ball? Why we can't pick up 3rd and 1? And NYG, I don't know if I can handle another season not picking up 3rd and 1.
Please don't take me there. Please don't take me. Take it.
So frustrating.
Either defend it or actually pick up a 3rd and 1 on offense. Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah, that short offense. And I'm be honest with you, it could be worse this year if this offensive line is not what it's projected to be. I'll tell you that because we don't have the running backs to do it. We gonna see, man. But let's get a little bit more into the film. I don't know how long Ms. Really Flawed could be with us, but I'm not gonna go too much longer. I was only planning to do an hour, but you guys always get me.
I'm just here. Listen, I'm just a part of the group. I'm just here, I'm just here so I don't get fined. No, I'm just kidding.
Nice.
But no, like I just enjoy listening to, I think it's funny because it's like all bad teams or all teams that are not very good all kind of struggle with the same things. It's what makes us not very good. So even though the Steelers were in the playoffs last year, like we struggled also on 3rd and 2 and below. Hell, we struggled scoring, period, until the 4th quarter. So I hear you.
Yeah, the Steelers and Giants are so similar historically. I mean, they're usually good when they have a good defense.
Mm-hmm.
They usually have pretty good wide receivers. Like they're pretty.
Yeah, that's why they're
Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
They got a very good relationship between them.
Yeah, the only difference is our coaching. I feel like Mike Tomlin always puts us over his consistency.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, definitely.
Pittsburgh, y'all had like 3 coaches in 70 years.
I've only cheered for 2 coaches since I've been alive.
Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin.
I've been there for all 3.
Yes.
Alex,
imagine how I was when we lost Ben. He was the only quarterback. I was like, what is this? Like, now what do we do?
Before Big Ben, it was Cordell Stewart and
I was
Mike Tomczak and Neil O'Donnell. Good Lord. Neil O'Donnell was trash, bro. And y'all made a Super Bowl with him.
Don't forget about Bubby Brister.
Yep, Bubby Brister. Trash.
Hi, Alex.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, nothing.
Hey, Alex, this is Miss Really Flawed, the lady I was telling you guys about, very knowledgeable with the game, and she graced us with her presence today, so we chilling. But let's watch a little bit more film with this, and then we're gonna talk about it, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
If we look at the breakdown of their coverage usage from this season, you can see that they kind of ran
out anything.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot to put it back on the screen. That's dumb. But as you can see, cover 1, they ran 25.9% of the time.
Defense.
Cover 2, they ran 13% of the time. 2-man, which they hardly ever run. Man up defense, they hardly ever run that, 3%. Cover 3, 32%, and cover 4/6. Remember, I told you about cover 6, 22% of the time. And this is before I even saw that. Looks like we're gonna be running a lot of cover 3. But I want them to add that cover 0 and cover 0 blitz out of it every once in a while.
2-man scares me.
That 2-man scares me with Cordell Flott, especially if there's a bigger receiver on the boundary. But
it's not even Flott. It's Darnay Holmes if he's in there. God forbid.
Oh, Darnay Holmes.
He will be.
That's barbecue chicken.
Yeah, let's get back into the video. Good Lord.
a little bit of everything. They were the only NFL team this year to not rank inside the top 10 for any coverage. And it wasn't because of indecisiveness or not being able to find something that worked. They were making a conscious effort to be as diverse and amorphous as possible so that offenses didn't know exactly what to expect from play to play or game to game. I discussed this in detail.
You see Kevin Byard right there?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what Tyler Nubin can be. I don't know if you guys remember, but Kevin Byard was a monster for like 3 to 4 years before he went over there to Philadelphia. I think
Offenses
Tyler
didn't
Nubin
know
can
exactly
be that,
what to
bro.
expect from play to play or game to game. I discussed this in detail in my breakdown of the Chiefs game, but the Titans used a ton of post-snap safety rotation to...
See how they only sent 4 even when they blitz?
Mm-hmm.
I
just love this. Oh my gosh, I'm loving it.
See, this can turn into a whole nother show, so I'm gonna stop it right there because I'm finna start bringing it down, and it's gonna take a long time.
You can put so many, like, you can mix that up with linebackers, defensive backs, like that back four. You see the front four rushing, but that middle four, that next four, you can do so much with that. You know what I'm saying? Because you have so many versatile pieces like Isaiah Simmons, like Tyler Nubin. Now, they brought in Phillips. They got Pinnock who can, rush, fly. So you have ball hawks as well that can do different things. So, I mean, look, they got options.
Yeah, Coach, we watching film. We watching film. I told you before, we watch film here just like you do, Coach.
We also have an undrafted free agent who led last season in interceptions. Or no, he was tied for what was it? 6th all time for college for interceptions. The undrafted free agent.
Talking about
Alex Johnson.
What school did he go to?
1 second.
Is it Alex Johnson?
No, I'll tell you right now. Yes. Yep. Led the Pac-12 with 5 interceptions, 6'1.5", 185 pounds, cornerback. Yes, sir. Alex Johnson from UCLA.
And I will tell you this.
You get a cookie.
Right. I will tell you this. Darnay Holmes won't see the field because I believe Drew Phillips will be the slot corner this year.
Please.
I get your sentiment, Pat, but I honestly disagree.
Well, okay. Well, you haven't had your solo. Tell me why you disagree with that, sir.
Well, I thought they brought back Darnay Holmes for a reason, and I think he's
special teams.
Special teams, yeah. And I think I was actually just not even watching, I was creating a video on it about Darnay Holmes. And one of the things that sticks out is that his veteran experience, and whether you like it or not, he's a vet. And, he's been on this team. He's played specials. He's done pretty much everything except play outside corner. And he has a leg up in when you talk about that slot room and even just the DB room in general, he has a leg up amongst all these other guys. I think that the speed of the NFL game now, I hope I'm wrong, in terms of Andrew Phillips, I think there's going to need some adjusting to. I don't think he's going to be a starter on day one, to where Darnay Holmes, he fits the zone system. He's not going to get as many penalties. I think that's going to be where he makes it pretty much. Now, I think one of the things that could knock off on Darnay Holmes is, do we all remember in 2022 when Richie James started roasting him in training camp?
Mm-hmm.
I think if he gets roasted in training camp by these slot receivers that we have, like the Isaiah McKenzies of the world, then you're going to be saying, okay, then we need somebody else. And I think that's when they're going to make the transition. But unless in that case, if Andrew Phillips is far behind, then they'll probably stick somebody else. But to me, I don't think Cordell Flott, I think he's going to need a little bit more, I would say, tuning in his, because I know that there's a thing right there about him not understanding zone concepts. Aaron Robinson's way too injury prone. I like him, but he's just never on the field. Nick McLeod,
he was on the team.
Yeah, Nick McLeod could be something. Trey Hawkins, that's pretty much an unknown. But going into the year, I honestly think it's going to be Darnay Holmes starting in the slot, unless a guy like David Long comes along. But again, I'm pretty much set that I think it's going to be Darnay Holmes starting week 1 against the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, that's unpopular.
That's a very unpopular opinion because I don't want Darnay Holmes to touch the field, sir, unless he's a gunner on special teams. And I will ask you this, Alex. Do you believe that Drew Phillips won't start because of lack of talent or lack of experience?
I think he's got the talent. He was one of the guys I definitely eyed when I was down in Bama. He was actually one of the first guys I scouted. He had a pretty solid Senior Bowl, didn't stick out way too much like a guy like Kenyon Mitchell. But I watched his film. I definitely think he's got coverage instincts and all that sort of stuff. I think one of the things that is going to prevent him from coming on the
field. Let it go because there's a lady here, but pause, Alex. Go ahead.
That was a pause.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, there was a pause.
I don't even hear what he said. Good Lord.
But I think one of the things that we really don't talk about with Darnay Holmes, and not like he's sufficient, he's like superb at this. I think the speed of the game is going to delay Phillips on the field. I think the other thing that's going to delay Phillips on the field is his tackling, because it's not just being an open field tackler or whatnot. I think the Giants, with the way they've been so bad against the run, they need at least a solid force in the slot against the run. And I think Darnay Holmes has at least been manageable at that.
I think Darnay Holmes is real good at playing against the screen, too. Go ahead, NYG.
Do you think Jalen Mills can play in a slot?
Yes, because it's stemming from his cornerback experience. But also last year, it was his first year at safety. I know a lot of people don't consider him a possible make on this roster. He's going to be one of the wild cards. It's like very interesting to watch in training camp where they put him, because they could put him at safety, they could put him at slot corner, they could put him in a couple of different areas just because of his experience. So I don't really know how to categorize him right now, because even then, I don't see, like, to me he's not starting outside, he's not starting in the slot, and he's definitely not starting at safety. So he would have to be some versatile Isaiah Simmons, I'm not saying Isaiah Simmons, but Isaiah Simmons like piece that, okay, he's at the safety spot. Now he's in the slot. Now he's here. Now he's there. Like, not good at one spot.
He ain't that damn nice.
Well, no,
he
he's
would
not.
be a
He's
backup at all three spots. I see what you're saying. He would be like a backup slot corner, a backup safety, or a backup outside corner.
I think Jalen Mills is going to be that veteran leadership on the bench, coaching these guys up, and if somebody gets hurt, we can put him in there. I believe he's brought here for depth, to be honest with you, because you got Dane Belton, Nubin, and Pinnock, and you know we still got Javarius Owens, and I know they're going to put him on the roster for special teams purposes. So does he make this roster? Maybe, because they may cut somebody like an Aaron Robinson, and they just have him as a dude that can play either position. So I do think he makes this team just because of his veteran leadership alone. You need those guys on the team. I know everybody has to be a 99 rating to certain people on Twitter and to make the team, but you need people like that on your team that can coach people up, because the coach, he has a job to do. And if you have a guy on the sidelines that can pull some young guys to the side, say, hey, young fella, I see this right here. You got the talent to do it. You can get right there and stop that play. I see it. You don't see it, but now I'm telling you, and now you do see it. So you do need guys like that on the roster. And I believe he does bring veteran leadership to this team, and he will make this team somehow, some way.
Bobby McCain.
Yeah. But we've been here an hour 30 strong.
What that mean? It don't mean nothing. We go 15.
Obviously, it don't. Right. Obviously, it don't mean nothing. Every time I try to get out of here an hour, it winds up being 3.
I got something to say.
Well, say it, sir.
There you go. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, you ain't blow me up like that. Goddamn.
You don't get on with it.
Nah, okay. So I was reading something earlier. Jordan Renan said that the Giants have the worst running back room, right? Now, we all know that they were basically just depending on Saquon Barkley in the run game. Our offensive line sucked to the fifth power, and he was basically the bulk of our offense, which is why he kept getting hurt because of our O line sucking and because of him being used so much until we got things somewhat acclimated. Never really got it going, but um, now we have three running backs. Don't really know who the running back is going to be, the primary running back. We don't have a big, short yardage back. We got little shifty guys, and we really don't have an offensive identity. So my question is, do you think that there is going to be more than 10 rushes a game in this offensive scheme, regardless of who's running?
Did you say at least 10 or less than 10 rushes?
I think there'll be maybe 10 rushes a game. Based on what I see, we don't have a running back. We don't have a guy that we've singled out and said he's gonna be our starting running back. He's gonna be our bell cow. Right? We don't have Singletary, Gray, and Tyrone Tracy.
That is not a good problem to have.
Yeah, that's a horrible problem to have.
Well, wait a minute. It's definitely going to be more than 10 rushes per game.
Okay, but look
I think it has to be more than 10 rushes a
the
game.
games we had with Barkley where he only ran the ball 9 times, 12 times.
But you just played that on one player. So
Yeah,
you said your question said
We have 3 backs, but we don't know if it's a primary back that we're using, if we're using all 3, if we have one that can be.
No, I get you with that. I get you with that, Lou. But see, you said what I'm taking it as, you're saying that we're only going to run no matter who 10 times per game. I'm sorry, Lou. If you get that's saying that each running back is going to at least run the ball 3 times per game. No, they're going to have to run more than that. So if you tell me each runner, even if they all run 5 times and Daniel Jones runs twice, that's 17 rushes per game. If you want to say you're going to do some reverses, because they have that in there also.
Oh, we got a bunch of people that can do a reverse.
Yeah, so I'm, are we going to run more than 10 times per game? Yes, I'm confident we are. Now, if you're going to say that's 30 to 40, no, I don't think we're going to do 30 to 40.
Now, thank you, because here's the next part of that question. With the receivers and the running backs that we have a running back that was a receiver. We have a receiver that was a running back. Mm-hmm. So do you expect to see a lot of trick and gimmick plays within the wide receiver and the running back group?
Consistently? Go ahead, Pat. You got it.
I think because we don't have a big thumping running back, we don't have a primary bell cow. They're going to try to do a lot of misdirection and
But here's the other thing, Lou. Here's the other thing, because we do run a lot of crossers. We ran split zone. You can also, because we're trying to spread them out, you can run simple, old school, like West Coast offense concepts, short, simple 5-yard passings that you can supplement the run game too. So, yes, I get what you're saying. And yes, I do think we're going to pass a lot more than what we've been used to. But you can still attack them using the pass as a run game and still run, 20 times a game, 25 times per game, and still be an effective offense.
And who will be the primary runner out of those 3?
But he could utilize right now. You could utilize anyone. You're used to we're having one guy that we can count on, and right now what he's saying is, because just like the defense, they're trying to do so many different things defensively that teams are not picking up on. You could do the same thing offensively in the run game. Well, who are they going to use as their bell cow? Because now you can't defensively, you can't focus in on one running back. You now have to prepare for more people going possibly being on the field. So now that makes the other team do a lot more work too. And now you got to it's the game. It's the coaching game. I get it. I've experienced it. I've done it for 40 plus years. I've done that too. So you know what?
I'm just posing the question because
Yeah, no, I got you.
was fizzling down, and Pat was talking about winding down. No.
Damn it, that's
We gotta sprinkle some life back into this motherfucker, baby. We got to keep it going. It's Wednesday night. It's a Big podcast. You heard?
Hey, listen. All right, Big Pat gonna tell y'all about the whole running game with the Giants this year. I'm a little bit worried. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a little bit worried, not because I don't think they're talented. It's because I think Brian Daboll has finally put his stamp as far as running his offense with this team. As you know, in Buffalo, they didn't run the ball a whole lot while Brian Daboll was there. It's not till after Brian Daboll left mid-season last year where they found out that that running back was actually pretty good, and Cook. And they started giving him the ball and they started winning. So I don't think Brian Daboll is a real guy that really wants to run the ball. I do believe he believes he can beat you passing the ball. Now, I will say this. I do believe we get over 10 rushes a game because if we're only running the ball 9 to 10 times a game, we better be screwed. Yeah, we better be hella pass blocking out there for real, especially in our division. You want to really let them pin their ears back and go after your quarterback.
You know who your right 90%
of the time. All right, NYG, we not gonna get into that. You already know how you is about Evan Neal. I do want to see if we're gonna start running more counters. And the reason why I want to run more counters with this team because we can use our team speed to our advantage with the counter. If we get you moving one way and we go the other way, it's going to be kind of hard to catch people like Singletary and Tracy and Wan'Dale Robinson. And I think we're going to do a lot of jet sweeps this year with Hyatt and Neighbors and Robinson. And it's a bunch of guys we can do that with on this team. We got a hell of a team speed. But overall, I want to see us at least average 14 to 15 carries a game. I think that's a very good number, and I think that's a number you have to do because you don't want these defenses just pinning their ears back going after the quarterback because we do have questions with Evan Neal.
Is it the right side or the left side you have questions about?
It's the right side with Evan Neal at right tackle. I believe he's a huge question mark. We don't know what he is. He's been often injured, and when he has been playing, he hasn't been playing well. And then I believe we're not putting light skin Jermaine in his best spot, which would be right guard on the right side of the line. We're putting him at left guard, and we're putting Runyon at right guard. And when you look at the stats, he's actually played better on the left side. So it's weird philosophies with those guys when it comes to the offensive line and the run game, but we got to fix that up. We got to fix that up, man. But
I'll tell you what he is. You talking about we don't know what he is yet.
You said what?
I'll tell you what you talking about we don't know what Evan Neal is yet.
We don't know what is Evan Neal? You don't know what Evan Neal is yet.
Did he say a bum?
Yeah, I mean,
Stop
only played.
Stop it.
You gonna see Pet Cemetery nigga bum.
Stop
Man, listen, he's only played in 20 games.
Jack, nigga Prince outlived Mike Jack nigga bum.
Nah, I'm not calling him a bum yet, but I'm not
right tackle.
I just think you got to give him a shot, man. You don't know what he is. He's been hurt.
I'm just
don't know what he is.
I know Coach has defended this point to no return. He's only had 20 games. He's only played. I got it. I get it. After this season, though, if you still suck,
I'm giving him maybe 5 to 6 games, and if he doesn't show any progression, then you're gonna have to consider benching.
I'm gonna agree with my brother Lou there. He's a bum.
Yeah, every Giants game I watched last year, I just remember thinking like, I felt like every game I watched, somebody went down, and then I felt like I just remember hearing, now they have to shuffle it again. Now they have to shuffle the offensive line again. Now they have to. Yeah, I felt like it kept happening. It was just like every week. It felt like every week it kept happening.
What y'all don't know is I played offensive line week 8. When Marcus McKeithen got hurt, they put me in for a couple of plays.
But the thing has been happening for so many years though, and I think that's what's got Giants fans so frustrated. This is not like it's been like what 10, 12 years now
of bad offensive line play.
Yes.
Yeah, look it up. We've been horrible.
It's been at least 12 years of horrible offensive line work. The Eli's last 5 years, our offensive line was trash.
Yeah.
So, interesting.
Yeah, because you don't know about horrible offensive line play over there in Pittsburgh. Maybe 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, I'm like,
If you really think back, Eli would say hike. They would be at him.
He was running for his life.
Spike the ball down at his feet.
Eli was too old. Eli was too old at that time to be trying to run around. He would take the ball, literally spike it.
No, you're right. I remember that, and yeah, it's crazy though when you really think about it. You're right, because and I hate to bring this up, but how long has it been? Every time you all play Dallas, every time you all play Dallas, I'm like, is the quarterback going to have any time, or is Dallas just going to run through the offensive line like nobody's standing there?
Oh no, Miss Flaw. It's because of Daniel Jones. It's Daniel Jones' fault that he has to run.
Man, you ain't know the Knicks lost game 7. I mean game 6 because of Daniel Jones.
Because of Daniel Jones.
Oh man, look.
Yeah.
Now I wouldn't take it this far, Steve.
Daniel Jones.
Stevie Johnson says Eric Flowers might actually be better than Evan Neal.
Who's the offensive line coach?
It's Brasillo now. It was OG Bobby Johnson last year.
He was doing the crap all the way.
Put Eric Flowers at guard, and he did play better. Just saying.
He actually earned a contract playing at guard. So
just saying.
I can't call him a bust though after 2 years. Neymar, I just can't.
Nah, he ain't that bad. He ain't to that level yet. Not
but
Flowers,
he's definitely trending towards that. I will give you that. He's definitely trending towards that. Not a good look. But Alex, how do you feel about our O-line going into this season? Like, give me your analysis of our offensive line going into this season. Just either give us the bad news or give us some hope. What you got for us?
I think there's a lot of, I would say, X factors. I think they put Runyon on Neal's sides, help him improve his pass pro, because you saw Glowinski's strength was run blocking. That's what Neal's strength is right now. They want to even him out with Runyon on that side. So I'd like to see how that experiment plays out.
Running with who?
I would say Runyon with Neal. But anyway, I think the left side should be fine. I do think hopefully wherever you place the guards, whether Runyon is on the left or the right or Illuminor is on the left or the right, I think JMS should have a better second year.
Oh yeah, definitely.
My thing is just Evan Neal, because I heard y'all talking a little bit about the potential matchup against the Steelers, and they got 3 good edge rushers, not 2. They got 3 good edge rushers. They got Watt, obviously. They got Alex Highsmith, and they got a little stud in Nick Herbig. So, and you know what? Whether Hayward plays or not, I mean that's a thing. I mean he'll probably play. He's 35, but see what Terrell Austin's going to do against us. There's going to be a lot of games where Evan Neal, if he's starting at right tackle, needs to prove it early. Week 1 against Jonathan Greenard or Dallas Turner. Week 2 against Dorrance Armstrong, which you should win that matchup. Week 3 against Myles Garrett. Week 4 against DeMarcus Lawrence. So it just goes on, and it's not going to get any easier.
Lord, I just thought about that. He is right, Alice. Good Lord.
Yeah, that's not great.
Ooh.
Trying to tell you.
Got the girl
Trying
up
to tell
real
you.
quick.
Make the
I
move
just
now,
thought about
bro.
that.
I'm
You
trying
ain't
to
lying.
tell you, man. This ain't gonna be.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think he can hold his own in those, but that Myles Garrett matchup scares the hell out of me.
And that DeMarcus Lawrence, man.
And
Protect
DeMarcus
his
Lawrence
lunch
owns him.
money. Yeah.
Yeah, he takes his lunch money every time he plays against. I forgot about that too. I
It's
don't
my
know,
chain,
man.
fool.
It might be 4 games he'd be out of there because if he's giving up sacks, and then we got to keep putting tight ends to your side, pause. I'm tired of that too. I want that taken out.
The break he gets in week 5 is Seattle, and Seattle has no edge presence whatsoever.
And he still might get beat the way he been playing. But you got to give him a shot. But I do want that taken out of the playbook as far as we have to keep putting tight ends like Bellinger or some of the blocking tight ends that we sign on Evan Neal's side because we're so scared. Yeah, we're so scared of him getting beat by the edge rush.
Did they not draft an offensive lineman?
Who?
Not this year.
No, not this year. We didn't.
No,
So you're telling me the offensive line?
We got 5 in free agency.
6.
Right
I thought
before
it was
the
6.
draft.
I thought it was 6.
6.
Yeah, 6.
6 offensive linemen in the free agency
Was
right
it
before
6?
the draft.
Yeah, it was
$210 million in free
Stinney,
agency.
Schlodeman, Nelson, Laminor, Runyon.
So 5. We
5
got
at the defensive edge. Yeah. Brian Burns.
I was sworn it was 6 for some reason.
6 free agents, 5 of them were linemen.
What an interesting conundrum. Because if you don't know who your offensive line is going to be, that obviously that's a whole different problem. But then you don't know who the running back is going to be.
But you also have a new offensive line coach. So everybody's coming in. Everyone in the offensive line is coming in fresh in terms of learning new techniques that he's going to implement. It's not just it's the scheme is the same.
Oh,
it's just because the same offense. It's
really flawed.
It's just that
you say it's really flawed.
The Giants organization is really flawed.
Right.
When you really think about it in life, everything kind of is. It's like, I'm actually flabbergasted. Like, I mean, I knew the offensive line was a thing, but I think when you really think about it, it's almost like I wonder how much of it is mental. Because at this point, when's the last time they've been good?
I'm telling you, that's a huge part of the game too, because your team could be bad for so long. Sometimes it really don't matter who you bring in there. Everybody has the mindset of, damn, we're just gonna be bad.
That's how the Browns were for decades.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you how bad it's been.
You heard me say pause, right, Coach?
Huh? No. I'm just laughing at all of y'all, man. I'm just laughing at all of y'all because I guess I'm different. I guess I'm too arrogant. I'm too cocky. In my career is just I don't know. I'm different. I'm just gonna leave it right
I've
there.
never been like that either. Like, I don't care what situation I go into. I don't care how bad you are. When I bring me and my good people here, we're gonna get better. That's my whole attitude about it. But you do have people out there that just psych themselves out. Don't matter who you bring to the team. Oh man, we just gonna be bad. It's kind of like Twitter.
But it's the culture. I mean, I think that's a culture thing.
And that's the thing. I don't buy into that. I don't buy into the fan culture of woe is me mentality. And to be honest, and I get it because I've been a coach for 40 plus years. So, I haven't had many losing seasons. So in my head, I can't, there's not a problem I can't overcome. I just have that mentality. I just have that attitude. It's like Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin was the Steelers. You go to the Steelers, you're confident. So and I get it. I get it with the Giants fans. They've been invested high low. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Your camera. Yeah, your camera. Sorry. You've been invested for so many years and you've been let down, and I get it. And me, it's just like, I'm on to the next one. Let's go. It's like the next play.
Do any of the guys that you guys got in free agency, do they come from winning organizations?
Yeah, the Packers.
The Packers, the Stenny from Tampa Bay. Well, I can't say the Raiders.
Other guy from the Lions. The swing tackle we got from the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean.
So that will help.
It's all about, I'm going to be honest with you. That's kind of a weak mindset to me. I don't care where I go, what situation I go into. I'm not just going to be like, oh, my God, we're going to suck because we sucked 10 years prior. No. It's about.
Still got Daniel Jones.
Right.
There you go. There you go, Hilltop. Okay. I got you.
It's dudes like him. It's just like him. The dude like him.
Yeah.
He's been here. He comes here every stream, but he wants to talk about somebody. It's just like them dudes on Twitter. Everything's negative, bro.
But you know what? Like, I don't know. I think there's something that happens though when this is going to sound terrible, but I think sometimes when you reach the height of your career and you know that it's the height of your career and your team or your position group just like isn't very good and you don't have to have high expectations, it almost breeds laziness and inconsistency because there's no expectation. And I think we're talking about it as if like, come on, losers, like suck it up, man up, go out there, like take some pride in what you're, you know what I mean? Like, but I think for them, it's like, we've been bad for so long. Did y'all see this, coach? We're not doing this technique. You know, it like, so it's like this weird dynamic where it's like, but that's why I said, I think leadership and culture matters. Like you can't do that at the Steelers organization. They'll just let you go. Period. Like you're out. I mean, look, we literally said, Antonio Brown, see ya. Like, bye. Le'Veon, you don't want this contract? Cool. Le'Veon, bye. I was gonna say. Yeah, like whether it was wrong, right, and different, I think it just sets the tone that like nobody is going to get away with half-assing.
Yeah, so I think
they really put me up there. I'm sorry.
Are they going at you in the chat?
Nah, they really try to push me today. They really try. I'm not gonna let y'all get me. I'm not, man. I'm not.
I'm not a killer, but don't push me. Oh, sorry.
Right. What's up, little bulldozer? Thank you for tuning in. Hope all is well with you. Ain't seen you in a little minute too. No Roach Dave in the chat tonight. He's over there watching the Commanders with Jaden Daniels, I guess. Goofy ass.
Oh my gosh! Yes, please.
Well, I need to jump off of here. I need to go work out. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, let everybody know your channel and everything.
No. Oh gosh, I'm on the main screen. I was doing good, just kind of hiding in the. So my channel's really flawed. I talk sports. It's off season, so I'm trying not to just talk sports, just to talk sports. Like I said before, Texas fan, Colorado fan, and I'm doing my 32 fan series. So this week was the NFC East. Tomorrow the Giants episode tomorrow the Eagles episode will release. Release the Cowboys today. So if you haven't watched the Giants episode, I suggest you watch it because I've already heard people in the chat say that you acted different on the interview than you do on your own show. So that's cool. So at least that I'll take that as a compliment that you wanted to chat with me. But yeah, I always say my YouTube channel is my brainchild. So there's a lot of sports. There's also just a lot of like life things. Spoiler alert, I do have a PhD. So a lot of the things that I do on my videos is about like researching and thought processes and why I'm thinking this and stuff like that. So it's just fun for me. And so it's just a cool outlet that I can release my brain and then get back refocused. So yeah, that's what my channel is all about. But this series is cool. And I think it's been amazing to see the responses that I'm getting from other people that are like, this is kind of cool. Oh wait, I didn't know anything about the Colts. Like, thanks for doing that. Cause I don't watch them. So it's been cool.
All right. So
yeah,
that's Miss Really Flawed. She has to leave us. She has to go work out.
Yeah. But listen, I will be back. So you just keep sending me the links. Yeah. And I will.
Your brain.
What'd you say?
Pause.
What did?
Let me go ahead and initiate you with your releasing your brain.
Oh
Pause.
Lord, here we go.
Good Lord.
Everybody gets
Oh
it.
my
And I
goodness.
don't care.
Yeah, I know, Lou, I
I'm equal
know.
opportunist.
Yeah.
But
The pause,
you
please.
guys go subscribe to Miss Really Flaw's channel. I'll put the link in the description. Thank you for coming on.
Of course,
Like I
I will
said,
come
you're
back and
invited.
talk sports anytime. So you just send
Okay.
me those links, and I'll let you know.
Pause.
If I'm available. If I'm available, I'll pop up.
Yeah.
But yeah. So don't be a
I
stranger.
definitely
Also, if you see a
appreciate you,
video
though.
you like and it's like, me going off on somebody or going in on somebody, and I never say pause. So just, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a woman
But
privilege. I ain't saying
Yeah.
pause. I don't
right.
care.
Hey, and like I said, if you ever want to do videos with the Big Blue Crew, let us know and we'll show up and show out. Especially if you go live or anything like that. Since you came to our
Yeah.
live, we'll definitely come to
Yeah.
yours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't
Um,
You know where to
forget
find me.
subscribe to Really Flawed, okay? Don't be a
right.
bunch of ninja watchers.
150 in the chat.
I appreciate each and every one of you, seriously, and just thanks for welcoming me. Because I'm sure that you're not surprised. It's harder for women to just like come in and talk sports and like just be a part of the conversation. So I just appreciate you inviting me in and all of you being so
I don't
gracious.
want
So
to hear no
thank you.
complaints. I can't go to OnlyFans and make millions off feet pics. So I don't.
Right.
And that's why I don't say pause. It is what it is.
All
All right,
right.
guys. Well, y'all have a good night. Thank you.
You have a
All
good
right. Have a good one.
All
Bye.
right. Good night.
All right, she's pretty cool, man. She definitely knows football. She loves the game of football. It doesn't matter if it's college, arena, anything. She talks about it. So go subscribe to her channel. Show her some love, man. Show her what the Big Blue Crew is about. Yes, I do have a bottle of Hennessy. I'm gonna crack open in just a little while. Now it's over 2 hours. You're not getting me to 3, god dog, and I'll tell you that now.
That's good. I did my job.
Right. As a matter of fact,
You're welcome, Miss Flawed.
the last thing I want to talk about, and Lou already hit on this topic, was the run game. I do not believe that we're going to run the ball a whole lot this season. And Lou, I do think you're correct. Some of these games, we may only see 8 to 9 to 10 rushes in one game. Do I believe that's the way this should go? No, I don't care how many weapons you have. My philosophy is, you run the ball to set up the pass. That's always been my philosophy. I don't care how ancient you call me,
And you
dumb
run
you
the ball
call
to control
me,
the clock.
ignorant. Yeah, ignorant, whatever you want to call me. I've always been a guy that wants to run the ball to set up the pass, because if you're running the ball effectively, the play action comes into play. The RPO is more deadly. So
The
I
time
do
of
think,
possession.
time of possession.
You got a
You're
lethal
tiring the
quarterback on the
defense
opposite
out.
side of the field. You're
Yeah.
trying to keep him from getting the ball a lot. You want to control the clock and move the ball up the field strategically, getting points at the end of every drive, and minimizing the amount of times that the opposing quarterback has the ball.
You frustrate the edge rushers because they're not able to rush the passers more. They're trying to get after the passer, but if they have to hold the edge all day long and get somebody like how the great Larry Allen was, may he rest in peace. And when you're trying to hold the edge against somebody like that all game long, why you think Emmitt Smith's the all-time leading rusher with that offensive line they had? They just broke you down.
Barry Sanders retired.
That's true as well, but Emmitt Smith would have been number 2. Oh, snap.
Yeah, if Al Davis didn't do Marcus Allen wrong.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I know the New York Giants have always been led by their running game and their defense primarily when they've been good. And I mean, I think we got part of it with the defense. I just don't know what kind of offense they're going to put out there. And what we always talk about, complementary football. You know what I'm saying? So you can't have this offense that's boom or bust, going 3 and out all the time, keeping your defense out on the field all the time. It's gonna wear your defense out. So you gotta, you know what I'm saying, control time of possession, and that's where the running game comes into effect. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Me and Coach, we talked about this last night. I don't on Heart of the City. I don't know.
Yeah, the
I
running
just
game is definitely question mark. But I just want to touch back on that for a second. And that wasn't no shade at Emmitt Smith because he's a damn good running back. But I just believe that Barry was better, and Marcus Allen got shortchanged because Al Davis didn't like him and he benched him, and then he went and drafted Bo Jackson right
I'll be
after
right
that.
back, fellas.
So, I think Marcus Allen would have had a hell of a career had he been with a coach who actually, had he been signed to a team whose owner was worth a damn. Um, but yeah, in my opinion, Emmett is number 3. I think Barry, and then Marcus Allen, and then Emmett.
See, if you're going to rank running backs, you're going to a
running
different.
backs.
You see,
No
because
Jim Brown.
exactly, man.
I'm not saying as far in that era. I think he wouldn't have.
Okay.
He
Well,
wouldn't have been the all-time leading rusher had Barry not retired and had Marcus Allen
Emmett
not.
was in the same. Emmett crossed over with Marcus Allen at the end of his career. Marcus Allen was in the 80s.
I know, but he got benched. He didn't get a
No,
full
I get you.
play. You know what I'm saying?
No,
So
when you said at 1, 2, 3, and you said the era. So that's what I'm looking
he was
at.
the all-time leading rusher, and I'm saying in that era, I don't think he would have got it had Barry not retired
No,
and had
yes.
Marcus Allen not been jerked around. He probably would have been the 3rd most leading rusher. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I get you. I get
See what
you
I'm
in
saying?
terms of where you're going. Okay. That's fair.
Not
That's fair.
that he's
That's
the
fair.
3rd best, and Barry was number 1 all time. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if he wouldn't have got the all-time leading rusher, I think he'd have been number 3 had
No.
he not retired and Marcus Allen not got jerked around.
Yeah, we all know if Barry stayed, it would have been between him and I think it would have Sweetness probably would have tried to push
We
for more
always
at
talk
that
about
time.
the offensive line. What running back had the worst offensive line out of all those?
I think it was Barry Sanders
Exactly.
because
That's why I
because of
think
the
he's
things
first.
the things that he had to do. I mean, Walter Payton in his early part of his year, he did have a bad offensive line
Right,
too.
goes dog.
Well,
He
yeah,
did.
I was just
Yeah.
the ones that you guys were talking about. Marcus Allen, Emmitt Smith, and
Yeah, the other no, I know that. I was just saying crossover. I was just saying in terms of when Emmett was there, the crossover, and I misunderstood what Lou was saying in terms of the rankings and so on and so forth. So yeah, Marcus, if he stayed with the Raiders a little bit longer, he could have been up there. Oh, what's up? What's up, Alex?
No, I was gonna mention something about the running game, but I also wanted to mention something off topic. Do y'all see my comments in the chat? Well, for Big Patch chat, because I try to post my channel once or twice, and then my comments getting deleted, so that's a little odd. But don't mean to interrupt y'all. Keep going.
Blocking you from the chat.
Yeah, I mean, I try to post my channel like once or twice, and it keeps getting blocked. Or I refresh a page and the comment goes away. But
Let me see if I look on the outside. No, I
it
don't
will
see
not
it.
let you. Look. I'm gonna tell y'all something about YouTube. It will not let you post a link in a chat unless you have a wrench.
that makes sense. Then Pat's got to make me get a wrench then
Yeah.
when he comes back.
Or you'd have to go just pull up YouTube outside. Pull up YouTube on the outside if you can do it that way.
Make me get a wrench. Pause.
No,
Wait a
no.
minute.
Even if you go to YouTube, if you try to put a link in YouTube and you do
Really?
not have a wrench, it will not let you put that link in there.
I got you, Alex.
Thank you.
I didn't know that. Thank you, NYJ.
Yeah. I've been on YouTube for a little bit.
Yeah, that's stuff that I don't pay attention to. I'm not gonna lie. I admit it. Y'all are much more tech savvy than me.
Yeah, I have to go. I have to go to my channel and make sure everybody got they modifications. I don't want to say the wrong word. Got the police out here, so. Lou, what's good with you, Brody?
What's going on, man? Just posting links in the chat.
You got a wrench though, right?
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. Yeah. Didn't even know that. Okay, cool. But you were talking. We were talking about the running backs.
Mark
I
Allen
love
and
when they be running and you pull them back. Oh yeah.
this is about to go left.
Nah, I'm not paying Lou no. I'm not paying Lou no mind no more. I'm just not. I'm learning. I'm learning, man. I'm learning. So, but yeah, in terms of the running back during that era, I understand what you're saying. But sweet. If Marcus Allen, I mean not me, if Barry Sanders kept playing, I also think that Mark um, Walter Payton would have still been trying to push for it because he got the record before Emmett did. So and he still would have tried to keep pushing. Yeah,
Well,
because he was while he wasn't in a a he was a more of a grinder and more of a he's going to lower his shoulder into your chest type of a running back. He will give you some moves from here and there, but and then he does the long step, the kind of with Deion Sanders with the high stepping. There were moments he would run like that, but Barry Sanders was just dynamic, man. And he'll start on the right side of the field, cut all the way back. As a coach, you're like, no, no, no. And next thing you know, he's bouncing all the way around and he's getting you 60, 70 yards. So, and it was, as a competitor, I hated seeing him retire, because I felt like he was always the best running back, for that time frame. And you always measured up, and Barry Sanders would always bring it to the field each and every time. So,
But the Giants, we talked about the Giants have kind of been led by the running back by committee. They've always had at least two. Maybe not 3 or 4, but at least always like two good running backs, and they've usually been change of pace backs. Now, what they got now is just a bunch of guys that are sort of
you're right.
similar in skill set, not exact, but sort of.
Joe Morris, when he first, because he was drafted with Butch Wolford, arch nemesis from Westfield High School. Oh God. But yeah, he was drafted, and Butch did not turn out as well as everyone thought. So that's why Joe Morris got the bulk of the carries, and he really didn't get a true second back until OJ came on board. Now if you want to say Maurice Carthen, because we did use the fullback back then, we really did run with the fullback back in those days. But I'm trying to remember. Rob Carpenter was Rob Carpenter. No, Rob Carpenter was he was late 70s, early 80s. Then it was Joe Morris along with Butch Wolfork. I think that was 83 that they were drafted. And then OJ came in 86.
got our portable Wi-Fi.
Okay, you gonna send some of that over here right now? So I'll cut off my I cut off all my
When we tailgate, when we go live from the draft, stuff like that.
I know what you meant, bro. Stop it.
In run game context, I'm a little but not totally surprised we haven't picked up Jakob Johnson from the Raiders, fullback.
Because he's not going to use it. He's not going to do it.
He's not going to commit to the run, right?
No. This is what their argument is. They're not. Dable is not fully. He's not a big run centric type of a coach. He uses it uses it a little bit just to try and keep you honest in per se. To be honest with you, that's really what he's. So he doesn't really need a fullback because that's taking up a roster spot. That he'd rather use if he can use a tight end H back. He'd rather do
Chris Manor, someone like that.
Yeah, so that's where I see it. Anybody got a chance to see Barry Sanders play live? No, I never saw him live. Never live. The only live I saw him was on TV. That's it. So
I never got to see him
nah.
In person, no.
I wish.
Probably would have been dope though.
Yeah,
because he was a monster, bro.
So Diella, I respect you, bro. That's awesome right there to be able to see one of the great ones play live, man. I would have loved to seen the line blocking and just see what he's reading. Yeah, that's amazing, man.
Yeah, I wish I could have seen him live. I actually saw him at Smith live at a Bears game when I was younger, when they played the Bears. But as far as Barry Sanders, no, I never got to see him play live. We never went to a Detroit game. I don't know why when we were younger. But I got to see Brett Favre play live. That was the experience. Uh, got to see Aaron Rodgers play live.
I could see him at training camp. I mean, that doesn't count, but
Right. But yeah, I've seen some pretty good players play live. I've seen Jerry Rice play live. He was pretty, man. If you actually knew what them dudes actually had to go through to actually go out there and play on the field, knowing all these route concepts, all the defensive concepts, defensive line
Mhm.
concepts, man, it's amazing what those guys can actually go out there and do and actually be Hall of Fame caliber players. Like that's crazy. Um, but I'm about to get out of here, man. Any last things you guys need to say before we get up out of here? Doggone Lou.
he's gonna wait for the right moment and watch.
Right.
Mm.
But hey, I will say this. Like me, Coach Lou, NYG, this is where we're on one accord as far as this team. I am worried about the run game. I do not want these guys go out here to be pass happy. Yes, we do have Hyatt. Yes, we have neighbors, Wandale Robinson, Slayton. Yes, we do have some receivers. Theo Johnson at tight end. I don't think it's a good idea just to get away from the run game because even the Chiefs, they use their run game, believe it or not. I know everybody, it's all Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is great, is going to go down as one of the greatest of all time. But they use that run game. And guess what? That defense saved their ass all last year. I don't care what nobody say. If it weren't for that defense, they probably even made the playoffs because the receivers were so wishy-washy over there with the Chiefs this past year. And guess what? These are the guys, some of the guys Daniel Jones was counting on to be number one receiver. Richie James and Kadarius Toney or Injarius Prony, as they call them.
But think about
Little
what gets the
hamstring.
offensive line going. You know what I'm saying, so to speak. Pause. But it's running the football. You know what I'm saying? And I talk about Evan Neal, but his strength is run blocking. So like, why wouldn't you? I guess sort of commit to it a little bit. Just to get your offensive line some confidence. Because the Giants, even in 2022, they were a good run blocking offensive line. I don't know, man. Coaches get in their own way sometimes, man.
Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, everybody, you got to get with the times. You got to pass the ball. This is a passing league. Do. Most of the teams that went deep in the playoffs, Ravens, running team. The Chiefs, they weren't a completely running team, but they were more running team last year. Detroit, two good running backs. San Francisco, running team. So the run game is not dead, man. It's just people just feel like they don't have to use it anymore. But the run game is still alive.
We got him, y'all.
Oh no, I'm about to get up out of here.
You'd wait for the right time.
Right. So I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in tonight with the True Big Blue podcast / New York Giants full access. Shout out to Really Flawed for coming through, showing some love to the Big Blue crew. You're probably gonna see her a lot more. Overall, I think this defensive scheme can work with the people we have here. But the main thing, this is one of you supposed to be part of the show, but the main thing, this running game, man, can we pick up third and shorts? Can we get ourselves with the run game, get ourselves in 3rd and 3 and 3rd and 4s consistently throughout the game? Can we use the run game to take time off the clock? Can we use the run game to confuse defenses and be able to do the RPOs better, be able to do play action plays better, which is a strong point for Daniel Jones. The RPO and play action game is very strong for Daniel Jones. And can we get our defense a rest?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? The running game helps out the whole team, because if we're getting off the field 3 and out, and then we're using 8 to 10 minutes on drives because we can use the run game to keep drives moving, to keep the chains moving. Now that defense comes back even more energized to get them on another 3 and out. If we do it again, that 14-0 may seem like 35-0 because we done took up the whole first half and you ain't did nothing with it. It's 21-3 or something like that. That's what really good teams do. That's what the Cowboys did throughout the 90s. Yeah. So, I mean, the run game is very important. And once again, I got to say the run game ain't dead, man. It's just not being used. But until the very next live, which will be tomorrow, for the Big Blue Lounge with Big Blue Lou, tune in tomorrow night, Thursday night. And until then, you know what time it is, man. Welcome to the Gulag.
Looks like we got another one! On the ground! This is the Gulag. In here, you fight to win back your life. Gates!